What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $600 second stimulus check update and your $2,000 third stimulus check update. I'm going to give you the latest details on whether or not the impeachment is going to happen today, as well as the $2,000 stimulus checks and the third stimulus package that is already being worked on by the Biden administration. And I actually have some very good news for you guys there, and rental assistance for you guys that just might pay your rent for several months. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. Make sure you watch to the end so you don't miss out. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on upcoming videos, and hit the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. All right, let's jump right in. All right, there's a group of Republican congressmen that wrote a letter to President-elect Joe Biden urging him to tell the Democrats to back off the impeachment and to not go forward with the impeachment because it'll break apart our country even further and divide us even further. Here's some talk about that, along with AOC, who has some commentary about it.
And, you know, the several Republican members of Congress who opposed raising objections to the certifying the Electoral College vote have written a letter to President-elect Biden opposing impeachment. Here's what the letter says. It says, in the spirit of healing and fidelity to our Constitution, we ask that you formally request that Speaker Nancy Pelosi discontinue her efforts to impeach President Donald J. Trump a second time. A second impeachment only days before President Trump will leave office is as unnecessary as it is inflammatory. They're saying, for the sake of unity, forego impeachment.
Well, you know, I think there's a couple of things. One is we have to understand that what happened on Wednesday was insurrection against the United States. That is what Donald J. Trump engaged in, and that is what those who stormed the Capitol engaged in. And so when we talk about healing, the process of healing is separate and, in fact, requires accountability. And so if we allow insurrection against the United States with impunity, with no accountability, we are inviting it to happen again. That is how serious it is. And I do not believe that perhaps my colleagues weren't in that room. Perhaps my colleagues were not fully present for the events on Wednesday, but we came close to half of the House nearly dying on Wednesday. And if a foreign head of state, if another head of state came in and ordered an attack on the United States Congress, would we say that that should not be prosecuted? Would we say that there should be absolutely no response to that? No. It is an act of insurrection. It's an act of hostility. And we must have accountability, because without it, it will happen again.
Man, very strong words from Congresswoman AOC, who's obviously from the Democrats. I don't pick sides. That's the Democratic point of view. The Republican point of view is basically the most common one I've seen is that, well, President Donald Trump, basically called for a rally, which is, Biden used to have rallies before the pandemic. And it's common to have presidential rallies and rallies for presidential candidates. Before the pandemic, you would see rallies all across the country with thousands and thousands of people. So President Trump, being, just kind of used to rallies, he did them even during the pandemic, called for a rally, and I don't really think he expected this to happen. That's kind of the Republican point of view that, going forward, anytime you hold a rally, like, are you going to try to impeach us because we held a rally? So I do think that this kind of breaches an interesting ground. Let me know your thoughts on why you think the Democrats are doing this. Do you think they fully believe what AOC just said there? Do you think that there's part of their agenda that they're doing this to kind of get back at Trump or to prevent him from running again? Of course, Republicans think the exact opposite, and that just shows why our country is just so divided. It's hard to get them to agree on anything, really. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and keep it civil, because YouTube does have filters on their comments, and if you don't keep it civil, your comments will just kind of fade off into the spam filter box. On the third stimulus check coming out, Joe Biden says in a tweet from last night, $600 is simply not enough when you have to choose between paying rent or putting food on the table. We need $2,000 stimulus checks. Honestly, this is absolutely amazing news that Joe Biden is reaffirming this, even with everything going on with the impeachment, the 25th Amendment, everything going on with that. Joe Biden is somewhat keeping his eye on the prize here that American people need another round of stimulus checks. Those $600 stimulus checks are really just getting people by. And this is probably the best news that I have seen in the last, I don't know, several days. This is absolutely amazing news because this means that they're not forgetting about the $2,000 stimulus checks. Joe Biden himself comes in office in 9 days. They're trying to push to get it done beforehand, but the question is, will that happen? Even if we have to wait 9 days, I know some people haven't even got their $600 stimulus checks yet. It is absolutely amazing to see that this is still happening, $2,000 stimulus checks right here from Joe Biden himself. Now, I personally think that the $2,000 stimulus checks are almost a certainty. The question is, will we get them here within the next few days, which will have to be negotiated with Mitch McConnell? But we know Mitch McConnell, who's the Senate Majority Leader, has his own $2,000 stimulus check bill. So it's $2,000 for adults, but not for children and not for adult dependents. So it's $2,000 for adults, but it's not as generous as the bill that passed the House of Representatives. Mitch McConnell would be foolish to not pass that bill here before Biden comes in office, because if he doesn't, then Biden's going to pass the $2,000 bill. I mean, you literally just seen the support for it there. Then they'll have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and won't really need Mitch McConnell for much at all. He will no longer be the Senate Majority Leader. So why not pass that now and get the concessions that you want in that bill thrown in while you still have the power? This would get the $2,000 stimulus checks to people faster here within the next day or two or three. Get them the money now, okay? Plus, it's only a plus up bill. What I call a plus up bill is basically both checks combined would equal $2,000. So Mitch McConnell's bill is technically $1,400 plus the $600 check that you got for the second stimulus check, or you're possibly still waiting on, to equal $2,000. So it's a $1,400 plus up plus 600 equals 2,000. Now, if this bill does get delayed here several days, the possibility of it becoming a full $2,000 grows higher and higher. Mitch McConnell loses more power by the day. So if Mitch McConnell wants to pass his own version of the $2,000 stimulus check bills, which is obviously not as generous, okay? But we know that these $2,000 stimulus checks are going to happen, especially when he loses power over the Senate and can no longer block or delay bills. Why not pass that now, Mitch McConnell? One, you get to help people. Two, you actually get people to like you again because we passed your $2,000 stimulus bill. Lots of people will actually like you and the Republican senators again. You actually win some face back, okay? And you'll get some concessions in there. Maybe Section 230 liability protections removed, which right now a lot of people are unhappy that President Donald Trump got his Twitter account banned as well as Facebook account. Okay, a lot of people, even non-Republicans right now, are very unhappy. Some, I have to say some, obviously not everybody. Some people are totally happy that Trump lost his Twitter account, but a lot of people aren't, including some Democrats, saying that the president should not be censored. I mean, who gives Twitter the authority to censor anybody? Me, you, the president? I mean, are they going to censor the next president and the next president? Who gives them the authority to do that? Well, Section 230 gives them the authority to do that. It basically gives them liability protection so they can't be sued for doing these kind of things. Now, Mitch McConnell could, this is a Republican agenda here, Mitch McConnell could get that removed if he passes his $2,000 stimulus checks here within the next few days. If he waits, he'll get nothing. They're going to pass the $2,000 anyways. Then they might pass the full $2,000 plus the $600 and $2,000 for children and dependents. So Mitch McConnell, if you're listening to this, or anybody you know is listening to this, I mean, we have had 60 million people watch this show. So it is a possibility that somebody who knows Mitch McConnell is watching the show might want to say, Mitch, you probably should pass that bill now because one, it gets money in the people's hands sooner. Two, you get some of your agendas passed. Three, they're going to pass it anyways in a few days without you. So you guys can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. The other good news, besides Joe Biden saying $2,000 stimulus checks are, he's in for them, he's approving them, he's the head of the Democratic Party who now control the House, the Senate, and soon to be the presidency, is that they're working on the third stimulus package right now. We could actually have the third stimulus package wording announced anytime this week. It could be as early as today or tomorrow, but that is really great news because that means there is another stimulus package coming out, not just the checks. Packages, as you guys know, if you've watched this show, which I know many of you guys are loyal followers and have been watching for months, is that the package really helps a lot more people than just the check. Packages have things like unemployment extensions, mortgage and eviction protections, student loan forgiveness, student loan payment extensions where you don't have to pay it, mortgage and rental assistance, which I'm going to get to here in a second, hazard pay, money for schools, money for vaccines, money for childcare, probably all sorts of things I can't even think of off the top of my head. But packages have a lot more in it than just a check. Now, obviously, the check is probably like the number one thing that people want. But a lot of people want those packages too. Unemployment people, people are unemployed, still around like 20 million people at this point. And again, all those things in that package help our economy, help our businesses, help our people, and help everything move forward and help us get out of this pandemic, at least economically, faster. And money for vaccines and money to pay people to administer vaccines and money to pay people to move vaccines and transport vaccines. More money means that stuff goes out faster. More money to companies such as Pfizer means that they produce it faster. We can pay them faster. Like, hey, the money's ready, give it to us. All that stuff moves everything on faster. There's really two parts of this recovery. One is the virus itself, and that's why I give you guys updates on the virus, because when the virus is at an all-time high, like it is right now, 300,000 new cases per day and 4,000 deaths per day, all-time highs, well, they don't really have number one under control. And the second thing to get us out, get us back to normal, is the economic recovery. And that's getting people back to their jobs, having not, the whole country shut down because of number one, the virus. And I always get a few comments like, "Oh, why are you updating us about the virus? We wouldn't be in this if it weren't for the virus." The virus is actually the number one most important thing. If the virus weren't here, we wouldn't be talking about stimulus checks or have a pandemic or have tens of millions of people out of work and restaurants closed down and businesses closed down and 1 in 5 small businesses in the United States have already gone bankrupt. So the longer that virus continues, the worse this stays and the more stimulus we need. Stimulus is good, but ultimately we want to go back to normal. So ultimately we want to get out of the virus and out of the pandemic, and that's like the ultimate goal. So all right, so let's move on to rental assistance. The Treasury is launching the $25 billion rental assistance program that had $25 billion in the second stimulus package. That's the package that you got the $600 check from. They are now launching this, and the money is starting to go out to states. And we're just now starting to get word that the money is going to states and will be going out to you shortly. I will be updating you. You're going to have to claim this money on the state and city and county level. So rental assistance in your state and county is how you will claim rental assistance from the second stimulus package. As well as the third stimulus package will probably have more money in there for rental assistance. A new Texas rent assistance program is coming, but experts say the state needs to work out some kinks. Work them out fast. But again, new Texas rent assistance program. The Texas Eviction Diversion Program will provide as much as 6 months of rent assistance to certain renters who have been hit hard by the pandemic For now, it is effective in 19 different counties in Texas, including Harris, Bexar, and El Paso. So I recommend you look into this program, Texas Eviction Diversion Program rental assistance. Google that, look into this. More money is on the way for Texas and other states. I will be keeping you updated with more rental assistance programs as this $25 billion starts to flow. Again, these rent assistance programs can pay your rent for several months. I think you're seeing there with 6 months. And honestly, 6 months rent is a lot of money to a lot of people. So I will be keeping you updated on more states and cities that we'll be doing this in upcoming episodes every day. So make sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon next to the subscribe button down below so you get notifications when we go live. It's completely free to subscribe. I will keep you updated on rent assistance and stimulus checks, unemployment, and everything related. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is how you could get $400 per week unemployment money. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, where I teach people how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.